The book of Jasher, chapter 56, starting at verse 6. And Jacob said, Call all your children unto me. And all the children of Jacob's sons came and sat before him, and Jacob blessed them. And he said unto them, Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers shall grant you 1,000 times as much and bless you, and may he give you blessings of your father Abraham. And all the children of Jacob's sons went forth on that day after he had blessed them. And on the next day Jacob again called for his sons, and they all assembled and came to him, and sat before him, and Jacob on that day blessed his sons before his death. Each man did he bless according to his blessings. Behold, it is written in the cipher of the Torah of Yahuwah as pertaining to Yasharel, or Israel. And Jacob said unto Judah, I know, my son, that you are a mighty man for your brethren. Reign over them, and your sons shall reign over their sons forever. Only teach your sons the bow and all the weapons of war, in order that they may fight the battles of their brothers, their brethren, who will rule over his enemies. And Jacob again commanded his sons on that day, saying, Behold, I shall be this day gathered unto my people. Carry me up from Egypt, and bury me in the cave at Machpelah, as I have commanded you. Howbeit, take heed, I pray you, that none of your sons carry me, only your sons, and this is the manner you shall do unto me. When you carry my body, to go with it to the land of Canaan to bury me, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun shall carry my coffin at the eastern side, Reuben, Simeon, and Gad at the south, Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin at the west, Dan, Asher, Naphtali at the north. Let not Levi carry with you, for he and his sons will carry the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah with Israel in the camp. Neither let Joseph my son carry, for as a king so let his glory be. Howbeit Ephraim and Manasseh shall be in his stead. Thus shall you do unto me when you carry me away. Do not neglect anything of all that I have commanded you. Do not neglect anything of all that I have commanded of you. Do not neglect anything of all that I command you. And it should come to pass, when you do this unto me, that Yahuwah will remember you favorably, and your children after you forever. And you, my sons, honor each his brother and his relative, and command your children and your children's children after you to serve Yahuwah Elohim of your ancestors for all the days. Father, Yahuwah, I come before you on this holy Shabbat, the most holy day of the week. Yah, I ask that you would look upon each and every one of us in these great times of sorrow and these soon beginning days of trouble. Yah, I ask that you would put your ruhuk around each and every one of the righteous of Yasharel, those who serve you, Yahuwah, in sincerity and truth. Yahuwah, I ask that you would challenge each and every one of us to look in our hearts, or give us the mind, I pray, to each of us to look inside of our hearts, to examine our ways, to see if you will be pleased. You told our forefather Joshua that you wanted us to serve you in sincerity and in truth. In essence, contrite heart, a humble spirit, a submissive spirit, an obedient spirit. Our forefather, Jacob, Jasher, gave us assignments, gave each of us directions, and reminded us if we loved you with all our heart, all our mind, and all of our strength, and we loved our brethren, and that we stood for our brethren, that you would bless us 1,000 times, and that we should never forget that. Yah, unfortunately, we have. We have forgotten you. We have forgotten the promises. Therefore, Yah, we are set in a dangerous path of a vicious judgment storm that is coming. Yah, you know the hearts, and you know the mind, you know the behavior of Yasharel. You have warned us many times throughout our book that we were a stiff-necked, rebellious people. A people scattered, a people confounded, a people who love the enemies more than they love themselves. You warned us, Yahuwah, not to be this way. You told us to be that way would be resisting your way. Yahuwah, I come to you again as a servant, humbly, in sincerity and truth. And I ask you, Yahuwah, to watch over your precious jewels, those who love you, Yahuwah, those who seek you, Yahuwah, those who are not in rebellion against you, Yahuwah, those who were once in the darkness, but now you have brought them into the light. There's nothing more I could do other than be your vessel. If I could do more, Yah, I would do it. And if I'm capable of doing more and I can't see it, Yahuwah, as for all of us, reveal it to me, and I will do it. But Yahuwah, we know we're in a time of trouble. We know that our enemies have encircled us. They have attacked, and they are attacking the hidden one, the least of us. Yeah, I pray that we understand if we don't return back to you, they intend to destroy most of us. Abba Yahuwah, I bow my head, I lift my arms, and I seek your face. And I pray that my brothers and my sisters will do the same continually. Hallelujah. So be it. Shabbat Shalom, Yasharel. I hope that you're in a place settled on this Shabbat day. If you're listening on this Shabbat day, and even if you weren't listening on this Shabbat day, I hope that you were settled and in a place. I hope and pray that you understand the days that we're in, and that you understand, my brothers and sisters, that there will be conspiracies all around us, and the conspiracies around us are going to be set in place to discourage us to not believe the time and the situation that we're in. You know, I thought that coming and starting today's Shabbat message, you know, with Jacob's promises to our forefathers before his death, would be appropriate, since we're in a time now that many of us are waking up to who we are. And in that awakening, some of us are forgetting whose we are. And I thought that Jacob's blessing to our forefathers was a good reminder, telling each tribe what role or responsibility that they had, blessing each tribe within that tribe so that those tribes would be strengthened, reminding us that Judah in particular, many of us in the islands, most of us are here in the United States now. Some over in South America, Brazil, very possibly. Slave transatlantic slave went across, and then a little what we would call northwest to the Americas, south and north. Why you see so many of the Judeans over there, the best in class, hallelujah. And again, including the islands. But one of the things that Yah said to us, brothers and sisters, that as Judah, we were supposed to protect our brethren. That we were not supposed to, as Judah, not prepare ourselves to war. And since we have forgotten that the enemy, the heathens round about us, has perverted that inside of us. And they teach us the battle that we fight is in our minds. Isn't that what Joyce Meyer had a lot of our brothers and sisters believing with her heathen book, The Battlefield of the Mind? And they convinced us that the battle was about self. Emotions. Woman, thou art loose. That's the abominable homosexual Jake's books that many of us purchased as Christians and stuck on our shelves. Witchcraft, sorcerers, lies. But because we did not know Yah's truth, we were gullible and we embraced it. And they taught us to be selfish. They drove home selfishness, individualism. You're better off by yourself. You don't need anybody. You got sweet Jesus, you're good enough. And I do mean sweet, because that demon is sweet as the Tyler Perry Madeira on steroids. But they used their sorcery and their witchcraft to push Judah into forgetfulness. And then Judah became like them, vain and more vain. And then we became savage towards one another, hateful to one another, more than willing to slaughter one another for any kind of gain, no matter how marginal. And now we have come to a day of judgment. And choices are going to have to be made, and choices are being made. We'll get there. But in this great day of trouble that's coming, the heathens call it mass depopulation by any means necessary, I might add. Got to get that number to 500 million across this whole earth, I might add. And as always, they'll start with our people. They've already singled out one of our people. A tribe, Benjamin, the youngest. And we as Judah were assigned to watch over our brethren, teach our children's children to watch over our brethren, including Benjamin, the youngest of the brethren. Our forefathers understood that somehow, some way, Benjamin would always be the one that's desired to control. Somehow they knew that even though Benjamin was the youngest, they learned from being among us. And they learned that there would be times they couldn't even trust their own older brothers. So they had to look out for themselves. And because they stood up and are still standing up to this very day, they're being ostracized, politicized, like a political football, being kicked all around. Yet there is Judah, the men, the particular tribe, us, that were given a specific direction from Israel to protect them, fight for them, watch over them. And for the most part, instead of us doing that, we have become confederate with the rest of this wicked earth to demean, exploit, humiliate, and embarrass them. It's written right here. Let's look at this. Jasher, chapter, again, you heard me read a moment ago, 56, verse 8. And Jacob said to Judah, I know, my son, that you are a mighty man for your brethren. That includes the Haitians. Reign over them, and your sons shall reign over their sons forever. Only teach your sons the bow and all the weapons of war. Not to kill one another, brothers and sisters. In order that they might fight the battles of their brother, who will rule over his enemies. Benjamin fought and took control of the land that they were in. They outbattered their enemies. And their enemies were pissed that they were defeated. And Haitian became a sovereign nation to rule over anyone in their land. And for that, to this very day, they're being punished for it. Now, if this was just a simple case, brothers and sisters, of, every man for himself, or a simple case of, well, look at them. They're nothing but a bunch of warlocks and wizards. Then maybe you have a legitimate argument. At least that's what I would think. But when you go beyond yourself and begin to try to understand how Haiti became the Haiti that we know today, then you might better understand why they are so despised. And whatever they may be doing over in Haiti that we would deem as witchcraft and Yah is cursing them. How easy we forget that most of our brothers and sisters practice witchcraft. Most of our brothers, here in America, you Judah, are witches and warlocks, neuromancers, praying to the dead, idol worshipers, and all these all these synagogues, all these temples all over the place. We call a curse. Yet we've sat here for 400 years and counting of some of the most wicked oppression that they refuse to sit under, I might add. We complain about the police brutality. We complain about the poverty. We complain about, them giving resources to the immigrants and not giving anything to us. We complain about the unfair and unjust laws of the land, redlining, redistricting, no reparations, no relief, no voice. But we talk about them, Haitians, being accursed. Well, if all the things that I described to you just now about what's happening to us right here, Judah, if that's not a curse, then I guess there is no such thing. And if there's no such thing, why are you still hating on your brothers? And if it is a such thing, why are you singling out your brother? Why aren't you doing what Yahuwah called us to do? I'm talking about you, Judah. Male and female, I might add. Right now, they're setting things up because they didn't want the Haitians here in this land full of milk and honey that they have destroyed now, by the way. So you Haitians who've come here, you know, you're kind of coming for the party, but you'll end up being the cleanup crew. In other words, the party's over. Why you think they let you come? All the getting has been absorbed. Nothing left now but what the rats and roaches want. The crumbs. And trust me, my brothers and sister Benjamites, they will kill you rather than let you get some of those crumbs. But we're at a fork in the road again, brothers and sisters. What I mean by that, judgment is coming. And if we can't see beyond our own ways and not help our brethren, then you better believe Yah is going to demonstrate himself through his equity. In other words, what is fair and what is just. And if we can't stand up for them and speak on behalf of them, then Yah will judge us accordingly. And to many, my brothers, I know something, you think this is a little thing. How is it a little thing when it's written in the book that it's a big thing? That we were supposed to look after our brother. Matter of fact, we were trained to war, we were trained to fight in war, not to kill each other. We were trained to be able to protect one another. We were not trained to go fight the heathen wars, which we fought in pretty much all of them. And they won because we became their backup plan, the cavalry, the secret weapon, the hidden ones of Jasher. We turned the tide. Every war we fought in, or they were fighting, better said. And when they pulled us into the tide turned in their favor. Doesn't matter if it was in Europe. Doesn't matter if it was in Africa, Americas, Australia, doesn't matter. If you know the history, when those countries or nations were in war, they were Israelites who they brought in from around the world in some cases. When France was fighting in World War I, they recruited, soldiers from right here in America. Israelite, Judah in particular, soldiers. And we went right over there and fought against the French, only to come back home and get lynched. You can read about that, early 1900s. But I bring this out because, again, we're missing on, what did he say? You will get 1,000 blessings. In other words, blessings continually. But we don't see these blessings. In many cases, we see the curse, and now wicked Israelites have come among us. Long time now. And what they have done is they do the heathen bidding for the heathens. Yeah, y'all curse. Yeah, y'all curse. Yeah, y'all curse. Yeah, y'all curse. Yeah, y'all cursed. How the saying go, make the lie big, repeat the lie over and over, and the people will believe it. And what can a cursed people do other than what? Be cursed. But the one thing that they didn't tell you, that those curses will be there not because y'all wanted us to be cursed. No, because we rejected the one who will bless. And that's why they gave us the New Testament, the New Testament. It's the very reason they gave us their Messiah, their Redeemers. I know many of you think he's yours, but you're just socially engineered that way. You're just ignorant. You don't know. And if that was all to it, I would be like, well, some people know things, other people don't. But in this case, Yah say, for that ignorance, you're going to be destroyed. He said, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. What knowledge? That who they are and who he is. That he's a jealous El. He shares his glory with no other. He has no equal. No, he has no son other than Yasharel that he recognizes. But we let the heathen tell us someone died on the cross, so they doing their Passovers and their days of atonement. Right now. But they call it the one day of the year, the most holy day, the day of repentance. But see, tomorrow or next week or week after, when that's done, they're going to be just like the dog that returns back to its vomit. They're going to be the same way. Nothing has changed. So who were they praying to? Surely not Yahuwah. Because if you go before Yahuwah and repent, Yahuwah restore. Not 1,000 years from now either, I might add. But our people, again, because we don't know the book, so we'll destroy for a lack of the knowledge. I'm sure by now you got your hammer and saw in your hand. You should, because we're going to have some precept. We're going to do some reading today, brothers and sisters. But Hosea 4:6 said we'll destroy for a lack of the knowledge. And a big part of that is because the elders of Israel have refused to take a stand for their brethren, to judge things. And in judgment is not to mean to be accusatory. It means to make sure there is equity and fairness. That's what judgment is about. Equity, or a better word, fairness. But what did Ezekiel say? There is none. The elders have abdicated their responsibility. And have become, again, just like, many of our forefathers, self-absorbed. What about me? What about me? What about me? We never think about what happens to the others among us. They think about, the your, but never the our. They think about the yourself, but they don't think about the ourself. And therefore, these blessings that were spoken prior to our forefather Israel, all you Israelites, talking about bloodline ones. Now these curses, and he said these are the curses of Abraham. Hallelujah. He said these are the blessings of Abraham. He said it will pass right down to you for all generations. But then yet we let the heathens tell us, oh, no one can keep the standards of Yahuwah. No one can keep the things that will cause them to be blessed of Yahuwah. Well, then somebody lied. And I suspect it's one of them heathens who got in your ear, religion, not Yahuwah. Come on, let's do a little discovery. Look. All right, let's go back. To see this so-called Day of Atonement that they're doing, to me, it's a waste of time. It is a waste of time. It's really, they've made it a day of idolatry. Because when you go back and you look at what they're doing, they're all just running around eating and celebrating and partying. And for the most part, they haven't said a damn thing about what has just happened recently to the tribe of Benjamin. Quiet as a church mouse pissing on cotton, as I like to say. Saying nothing. Where's your Bishop Nathaniel? Where's your Dows? Where's your Apostle Tahar? Talking about them GMS. Impotent, big mouth idiots. Where's their leader? Saying, they say nothing. They'll throw Haitian on the 12-tribe chart, but you notice they're strangely silent. When Trump and the rest of these snaggitude heathens start telling lies on them. I wonder why that is. No, I don't wonder why that is. They're all bought and paid for. All government agents. All Louis Farrakhan's undermining Malcolm X. Why you think he got the bag? Why you think they get the bag? Why you think, truth tellers like myself don't have the bag? And let me be clear. If I was given an option to get the bag, to sell my people out, you know what I'll tell you? You take that bag, ball it up tight, and stick it clean up that rectum hole you have. I'm no sellout. Never have been, never will be. But that's just my testimony. there are other testimonies we're going to look at here from our forefathers. But the elders, when they were supposed to be doing what I'm sharing and doing and attempting to do with the second channel, the DFG, King of Israel, Yahuwah, the DFG, King of Israel, DFG, Yahuwah coming soon, or King coming soon, channel. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters, my mind is on this. Y'all know the backup channel by now. If you're paying any attention, you know there's another channel. But my mind is focused on our people. I understand very well that if our elders don't take responsibility for the generations that are coming up behind us, because they got all these excuses, well, they're not going to listen to us, and you got to understand, you got to remember, we were at war. Well, damn dummy ass, I was at war, right? My ancestors was right where your ancestors were. So if it's not stopping me, how the hell is it stopping you? I'm an Israelite from the United States of America. My people have been here for at least 600-700 years. My ancestors fought in the Civil War. What about yours? My grandfathers fought in the Civil War. I have records of it. They fought in every war this country's had. Uncles. I've had 3 sons. I have 3 sons, and all 3 of these sons have served in the military here for this country. So I'm not trying to hear excuses here. That you really, it's a selfishness that you disguise, as justification. In other words, an excuse is a lie well dressed up. If you were honest, you would just say, I don't love them enough. And if you can't love your brethren, then I'm going to tell you clearly, those blessings that I just read here, that Israel prayed over all 12 tribes, including Benjamin, you won't see them. And if you do see it, it'll be like putting money in bags with holes in it, because you won't even consider yourself. As elders, we have a responsibility. As a commandment, we have a responsibility to care about one another, even the wicked among us. Care enough to tell them they're going to hell if they don't repent. Tell them they're going to hell if they decide to stay in idolatry, which is rebellion. Just nobody can tell them nothing, which is again, it's idolatry. This stubbornness. It's sorcery. It's witchcraft. Samuel warned us of that. In 1 Samuel chapter 15, that's exactly what he told King Saul. He said, your rebellion is as idolatry, and your selfishness. Let's go there. I'm going to come back here. Hallelujah. Let's go to 1 Samuel. Hallelujah. Look at chapter 15. Look at verse 22. And Samuel said, 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 22. And Samuel said, has Yahuwah great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices? No, he does not. So all you Day of Atonement, all you feast days, all of you out there who are doing all those things, but you don't even care about your brethren, y'all say, get out of here with that mess. Your self-gratification, you're a self-serving idolater. You have corrupted, you have polluted those days by injecting selfishness in there, making it be about you or you all. Why you care nothing about your brethren who are suffering. Regardless how vocal some of us are being about it. crying aloud. And I'm wise enough to understand that many of you, you're going to listen to this and you're going to go right on back to what you're doing, just like the heathens are doing all over, wherever they are, in their temples or their mosques or their camps or whatever they're operating at, their houses. They're going to go through their little ceremonies like they're doing something for Yah, like Yah is going to receive that mess. Your heart is wicked and dark, and you really think Yah is going to bless you? I guess you'll be rudely awakened when you wake up in hell, except you be repentant. But look at this, 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 23. Look what he says. Remember, verse 22. And Samuel said to Yahuwah, and Samuel said, has Yahuwah, he's talking to King Saul, who happened to be a Benjamite. He's a Haitian. He's not a Haitian. Haitians are not Haitians. They're Benjamites living in Haiti. Many of them. Unlike us, they have a country that they can claim their own. You Americans, please. And Samuel said, has Yahuwah as great delight in burnt offering and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahuwah? Question mark. He's questioning them. So you really think Yahuwah wants your sacrifices? You really think he wants your days of atonement? You really believe that? That's what Samuel is saying. Yahuwah is telling Samuel, say, go tell Saul, do you really believe that lie? Are you that confounded? Are you that confused? That you really believe that's what Yah wants you to be doing while your brethren are suffering everywhere? In your own communities, your own neighborhoods. And you say nothing? You do nothing? And we're not just talking about standing on some corner or on some platform running off of your mouth. If you put in the work, then you should have a platform. You haven't put in any work, you shouldn't have no damn platform talking to us about a goddamn thing. If we can't look in the background of anyone who has a platform, brothers and sisters, you shouldn't be listening to. You ought to be able to look at their background and say, okay, what were they doing before they created their channel? What were they doing? And more times than not, you know what you're going to find out? They wasn't doing a damn thing. They saw an opportunity to monetize. They saw an opportunity to get rich. And so they jumped in YouTube and they started creating content and they started spitting this foolishness out to gullible Israelites. Leading them astray like sheep being led to the slaughter. You should always ask, what are your qualifications for doing what you're doing? This book, our book, is full of the testimonies of men and women of Yahuwah. And the work they were putting in before Yah called them. Not being clever and looking at an opportunity and taking advantage of it, getting in early. They are nothing but sorcerers. Individuals who are listening to demons and they're spewing out of their mouths what the demons are putting in their heads under the pretense that Yah told them or called them or empowered them to do it. And they are nothing but wolves, devils. Now, I'm not even going to use the wolves. They are dangerous. They are the antithesis against Yahuwah. They are the very ones when Yah said, I despise your feast days, I despise your festival days, I despise your offering days, your days of atonement. He said, I despise it. He was talking about them. You can look over at Amos chapter 5, verse 21. Start right there and read down. You'll see it. Say, where's the judgment? Where's the equity? Where's your love for your people? And I ain't talking about your cousin. There are 12 nations. That's your people. He said, where's your love for them? And here it is, the leaders are the so-called elders among us, especially the male elders. What are they doing? Standing on the corner throwing rocks at people. When they're supposed to be fighting. They're supposed to be at war. Did he not tell that to Judah? What did he say? Okay. First of all, let me go back over. All right. We'll go back there in a moment. 1 Samuel chapter, again, 15 verse 22. Third time I'm saying it. I know. I'll get through it this time. And Samuel said, has Yahuwah great delight in burnt offering and sacrifice as he is obeying the voice of Yahuwah? Behold, to obey is better than the sacrifice. Now see, we can stop right there. God's telling you, if you being obedient, you don't have to do no damn sacrifices. Because your obedience is better than sacrifice. And he's clarifying the difference between obedience. Because well, no, your sacrifice is your obedience. That's not what this says. Stop trying to conflate the word. See what's happening? You're clever with you. You can't pull that over my eyes. When it says better than, it's either or superior to. And when something is superior to the other thing, that means that thing is inferior. And if you got to choose the superior versus the inferior, it's the difference between choosing Yahuwah, the superior, and the Yahweh and the rest of their gods who are inferior. And you're choosing inferior. When you're in disobedience. Or you're not. Better say it when you're not. Because someone, well, I'm not in disobedience. Yeah, but you're not obeying Yah's Torah. Because if you were obeying the true scripture, again, then why are you neglecting your brethren? Why are you out here promoting heathen doctrine? Why are you polluting the temple of Yahuwah by bringing unclean things and offering up to him? In our T.I.E study group last night, we were talking about that. Yah does not want clean mixed with unclean and holy mixed with unholy. It's an abomination before him. Yet all these abominable events are happening all over this flat earth. Over the weekend, the Day of Atonement. Then the next feast day, next feast. And if you look at them again, nothing has changed. Only ones winning in those things are the people who are, it's the one who's, how you said? It's a party, and the only one benefiting is the promoter. And a few little entertainers. The guest is what I kindly call those who are being exploited and ripped off. Feeding the beast. Putting money in bags with holes in it. And you won't even consider. This is what he's saying here. When you're in rebellion, you don't consider the truth. You won't consider the truth. And this is a reminder to many of my brothers and sisters. Don't get all frustrated because when you bring this truth to folk, they don't want to hear it, and you start feeling some kind of way. And then if you're not careful, you start feeling isolated, and then you start feeling rejected, and then you go in your little, your state of, nobody loves me. I'm all by myself. You remind me of Elijah, one of the most powerful men in his time. Took names and then let a woman run him into the goddamn woods. That's how weak he allowed himself to become because of doubt and always questioning himself. Trust in Yahuwah with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your way, acknowledge him. And Yah will what? Direct your path. Means he will always strengthen you. Let us go on. He says what? And to be clear about it, look what he says. Yah don't say, is that better than obeying the voice of Yahuwah? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to listen, that is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion means not to listen, is as a sin of witchcraft. And stubborn, prideful, arrogant, stubborn, nobody can tell you nothing. You always right. No matter what anybody else says, you got to be right. And you'll use Yah's book as a whipping stick so you can be right. And you don't even realize that same power you're using to exploit this word, it's the same judgment Yah's going to put on you for exploiting that word. Yah's word is not here to be exploited. Yah's word is here to be taught, to be passed down generation after generation. Teach, inform, educate. That's what's supposed to be happening with Yah's word. And yet, many out there are using it for self-justification or for self-benefit, exploitation. And you can't always see it from the outside. Many of us think, well, yeah, I can see, yeah, he's in it for this and she's in it for that. Brother, you can't see what's in the inside. Sister, you know what? But Yah can. And sooner or later, they'll show their hand. And when they show their hand, it's going to be an ugly hand. It's not going to be a misstep. It's not going to be a word slip. Yah said if a righteous man falls 7 times, he lifted them. It's not going to be a slip of the tongue thing. That's not going to be the exploitation. I mean, that's not going to be the revealing. It's going to be something so atrocious, it'll make you want to throw up. Right in your pants. Right in your... in the street, wherever you are. Throw up in your own mouth. I don't know, how gross can it be? It's going to be that wicked. You don't know. That's why you're supposed to look and say, well, where did you come from? Where did they come from? See, we know what Saul, you go back to 1 Samuel chapter 8, you'll see where Saul came from. You go to 1 Samuel chapter 10, 11, you'll see where David came from. There's a history where Solomon came from. There's a history where Moses came from. There's a history where Abraham came from. We know where Abraham was when he was 3 years old. Abraham. There's a history where Daniel came from. Where you came from. Shh. You don't want nobody to know that, do you? But it's going to be revealed. And when the people find out, more importantly, when Yah reveal it to the people, boy, you're going to be in trouble. Woman, you are going to be in trouble. So you can keep on playing these little clever witchcraft games all you want. Male and female witches. You keep on. You're getting away with it. At least you think you are, because man can't see. The same Samuel, what did he tell Saul? Man looketh at the outer man, but Yahuwah looketh in the heart. See, he said, man judges the outer man. Oh, she pretty. Oh, he fine. Oh, he smart. Oh, she got pretty weave. But Yah saying, yeah, on the outside they're beautiful, but inside they're like dead man bones. They're just as wicked and rotten as they can be. They know it, by the way. They just don't want you to know it. So Yah told me to say it out loud. Where they came from. What's their qualification to be standing before Yah's people? Well, Yah called me. Yeah, but he ain't calling no fools. He's not going to call the unlearned, not to lead his people, he isn't. Because they say the fool hate now, so why would he call a fool? He's not going to call, someone who just talks shit like the camps. Because he say the scorners loved it, they delight in scorning, so it's not going to be them. The old time is talking about people. Let me give you a scripture to put with it. And he's damn sure not going to, a simpleton, one who only cares about his or herself. That's the simple-minded. I can do bad all by myself. But you couldn't, make a pair of shoes if somebody put a gun to your damn head. You couldn't even figure out how to brush your teeth if Colgate and Palmolive and Crest and the rest of them went out of business. Procter & Gamble. What am I going to do now? I don't have no toothpaste. My internet went down. I don't know what's going on Facebook. Freaking fools. Simple-minded. Thinking your job is your provision. Just over broke. J-O-B. Just over broke. The job, 9 times out of 10, that's undergirded by the heathen system, which is about to crash. It's already crashed, you just can't see the fire. And that's what many of Israel has their trust in, their religion and their economy. At the expense of not understanding compassion and love for their brethren. As commanded, I might add. Like there's not going to be a price to pay for going against Yahuwah. Going against his commandments. And this is what he's telling Saul. You're stubborn. You were commanded to destroy this wickedness among the people and you refused to do it. You did just your version of it, but you didn't do what you were told to do. And then you go before Yah as though you clean. This is what he's telling Saul. You go before Yah like you clean. Yah said, what do you mean clean? What's this hearing I hear in my ear? What's this beeping I'm hearing in my ear? This is what Samuel is telling us all. Because Saul has the audacity to say he's 100% faithful. And yet there's clear evidence of rebellion. But see, unlike many, Samuel was bold enough to tell him to his face the truth. Samuel went right up to him. So he said, look what he said to him again. Your rebellion is at the sin of witchcraft, and your stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. He said, you're nothing but a witch who's practicing idolatry and iniquity. Because you have rejected the word of Yahuwah. Now he's going to reject you. See, many of our people are doing their version of whatever they're doing. Yah said, I'm going to reject you. You think you serving me. You're serving yourself. And you know it. Even though he was in denial. Look what this. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned. See, now he wants to be contrite. There's no such thing as contrite because you got busted. You got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. That's not contrite. Contrite is when we see this word in sincerity and we obey it in truth. That's what contrition looks like. That's when the truth comes, then we do something. That's contrite. That's sincerity. We look at it because we knew it was wrong, not because someone found out. And now he's looking for the man of Yah to somehow or another look the other way. Look at verse 24. Says, and Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned. I have transgressed the commandment of Yahuwah. Oh, now. Now you want to be right. That's when many of people on Judgment Day, they go, well, no, I didn't know, I did. He said, nah, not hearing it. Y'all gonna tell me I'm not hearing that. You did know. I thought, then you were a fool for thinking what you thought. You were simple-minded. And that's just what he's going to say to them. He goes on to say this, what? And Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of Yahuwah and your words, because I have feared the people, and I have obeyed their voice. In other words, I feared the system. I feared people. I let people influence me instead of allowing you to influence me, Yahuwah. I let my situation, our circumstances influence. So therefore we turn on our brethren, we turn on our sisters. Because we don't want to do any heavy lifting if it's going to cause true physical human sacrifice. In other words, us saying, look, I don't care if I got to go through the fire. I don't care about what it's going to cost me. If I got to choose between suffrage and obedience, I'll suffer. And you don't know nothing about being without until you have, by the way. A lot of people, yeah, I'll suffer. You saying that so easily because you ain't probably never had nothing, because you probably haven't done anything, never put your nose to the grind, as they say. When those who have a little bit was working sun up to sundown, weekends included, you were living for the weekend. And now you're 50, you're 60, you're 70 years old, and now you want to bitch and moan and complain about, oh, my situation. You don't understand my situation. What I understand is you put yourself in that situation more times than not. I understand that. So if you're asking me, do I understand your situation? In that regard, you're damn right I understand your situation. Because while you were over there seeking pleasure, I was over there grinding at the mill. And many others too, I might add. Not just myself. But then there's other group over there. The gloom and despair group. Brother, then they try to lie on y'all and say it's all about the curses. You're a filthy pig. But pushing those lies out there. You're lying on Yahuwah. I just read to you. Let's go back over here. The book of Jasher. Look at verse 56. Look at verse 6 again. And Jacob called. Jasher 56 and 6. And Jacob called. And Jacob said, call the children unto me. All the children of Jacob's sons came and they sat before him. And Jacob blessed them. And he said unto them, Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers shall grant you 1,000 times as much and bless you, and he may give you the blessings of your father Abraham. And somehow there's put the spin is in, and they got everybody talking about Jesus or Yahushua. How clever. You're blessed in him. He's your sacrifice for your sins. You're cursed because Yahweh cursed us. Well, Abraham said Yahuwah would bless us. And for some of us, many of you who are in these heathen churches, when you were giving your tithes and offerings, and they were talking about those who bless Israel, Yah's gonna bless, your ass had no problem pitching in. You were digging deep in your pockets. Never realizing the Israel that the book was talking about was you. But you love the heathen so much that whatever the heathen planted in your head took root in your heart. And just like Saul, your rebellion and your stubbornness is going to be exploited, and you're going to be judged for it. All who preach that lie. The Yah blessings are not sufficient. The Yah blessings have somehow another been, abdicated by Yahuwah who spoke the blessing, as though he's a man that he should lie. No, you're the liar. And anyone who's talking to you or you're telling that to you to lie, and anybody listening to you are being lied to, being exploited by you, and they deserve to get what they get, because when they heard the truth, just like Saul was told, go utterly destroy the enemy, they decided to do their version of go utterly destroy the enemy, meaning I'm going to keep that which is beneficial to me. Like Yah was going to accept that. Like that, Yah needs to understand my situation. No, he doesn't. On the other hand, you better consider your situation. Many in Israel are going to wake up to a rude awakening. And I'm not talking about the heathens over us. We already know what's going to happen. I'm talking about those who think they're in and your ass is out. You're so self-absorbed, you won't do anything beyond what makes you comfortable. Yah gave a Bible study that every Israelite should be on, let me tell it, on Wednesday nights. Every Israel, I don't care where you are on this planet, you should be on the Bible studies that we create on Wednesday night. Because there is truth there. I don't care where you are. You got a phone, you got a cell phone, you should be trying to figure it out. If you love Yah that much. You hate wickedness and you hate sin that much. But in that rebellious heart, that witch in you, who made you king, who made you ruler, if I wanted to be your king, or I wanted to be your ruler, I'd understand why you say that. I don't seek to be your king. And I'm damn sure not your ruler. Yahuwah is the sovereign king of Yahshua. And Yahuwah is the ruler of Yahshua. I'm his servant. Why you have a problem with that? Because you refuse to serve? And you don't want to be called out about it? Is that your real problem? Is that the real rebellion that you choose to ignore? The elephant in the room? Don't make it about him. But I bet if anybody looked in your closet, there's a whole bunch of hymns in that closet. A whole bunch of selfishness that people know you know that's what you're about. A lot of skeletons in them closets, brothers and sisters, of the rebellion. They're witches, soul stealers. And they're becoming male and female. You want to talk about, unisex? That's your unisex right there. But the only thing could be a male or a female. Witches and warlocks. Sorcerers. Pushing lies. You can't be blessed. Here it is clearly. Yahuwah of your father shall grant you 1,000 times as much and bless you. And may he give you the blessings of your father Abraham, who was very blessed. And the children of Jacob's son went forth on that day after he had blessed them. And on the next day Jacob again called for his sons, and they all assembled, and they came to him, and they sat before him. And Jacob on that day blessed his sons before he died. And each man did he bless according to the blessings. Behold, it is written in the cipher of the Torah of Yahuwah as it pertains to Yasharel. Through this whole earth, the whole earth will be blessed through Yasharel. Yet they're telling us that we can be a blessing to them, but a curse to one another. Well, if you want to believe that lie, keep believing that lie. I don't believe that lie. That's a damn lie. It's a low down, dirty, rotten lie. It's a low down, dirty, filthy shame that we will allow the heathens among us to call Yahuwah a liar. We're under the curses. That is not what this said. And if you go back over to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, they forget verse 1 all the way through to verse 14. If you do these things, I'll bless you, I'll bless you, I'll bless you, I'll bless you. So they conveniently left that. They didn't forget. They know it's there. They left it out. And then they started at verse 16 and tell you about how cursed you are. And because our people perish for a lack of knowledge, you bought right into that folly. And some of you still over there. When he coming back? We come back, y'all. We come back. I look for his channel. Can I share his stuff on my channel, y'all? Huh? Sir, you mind if I share your stuff on my channel? Because I'm simple-minded. I'm not called to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Look at me, ain't I pretty? Oh shit! I bet you got hit that time. Don't blame me for the hit. It's like when Samuel called Saul a witch. Don't blame Samuel. Blame yourself, Saul. After all, you know what you did. And you know what you've been doing. And you know you don't care enough about y'all to be on those studies about him. But you go around trying to make everybody believe you so holy. But everybody know you're a fraud. Your children know you're a fraud. Your neighbors know you're a fraud. If you happen to have a man, he knows your ass is a fraud. He knows your secrets. And you know his. And Yah knows all of it. He says right here clean that we're going to be blessed according to Yah's Torah, Jasher. And then Jacob said unto Judah, I know, my son, that you are a mighty man of your brethren. I want you to reign over them. And I want your sons to reign over them forever. Not reign and oppress them, reign in support them. Look out for, like a big brother looks out for a little brother, like a big sister looks out for the little sister. Well, you know, when mama would leave and the older, she said, now y'all in charge. The older ones, they're in charge. You little ones, y'all listen to the older ones. They're in charge. In other words, they're going to reign in my absence. But what is Judah doing? Judah's doing Judah. And they're doing a shitty job of doing Judah. That way Judah's about Judah by itself. And then we accuse the Haitians of being this and this one of being that. Well, they learn well. They learn from their older brethren. But truth be told, their younger brethren could have taught their older brethren a little something about resilience, about determination. Yeah, I'd rather live in a country that's being exploited by every wicked nation on this earth. A people that has been hated of every nation on this earth. Why? Not because of some witchcraft and voodoo. That's bullshit. That's heathen lies. You go on any news that, oh, they do voodoo, or the Haitians are cannibals. Heathen doctrine. Heathen conflated lies. Oh, they eat cats. Wait a minute. Which one is it? Are they getting EBT cards with thousands of dollars on it? Are they getting cars with $5,000 in cash on it? Are they getting subsidized housing? Are they eating cats? Can you tell us which one of the two it is? Because we're about sick and tired of your wicked ass being between two opinions. I'm just saying. And I can assure you, if they're getting all these benefits that you claim they're getting, they ain't got no damn reason to be eating nobody's pets. On the other hand, what about you? Now that's a different story. What you putting your mouth on? But you see, when that rebellion gets in the heart, then we reject this truth, brothers and sisters. And then when we let the heathens get in our heads, We start exploiting one another. I'm going to print out this. I'm going to print out that for. I'm going to print out that for. I'm going to print. All because we don't want to take responsibility for what's happening in our lives. So blame somebody else for my troubles. I'm not going to turn to Yah. I'm not going to get in the Word. I'm not going to study the Word, because just because you can say the Word doesn't mean you understand what you're talking about. Just because they can say the word, brothers and sisters, that don't mean they understand what they talk. They're like, they go find a precept. Break the precept down. Break the word down and teach us what it's saying, my friend. Prophetess, prophet, prayer warrior. Break it down. Break the scripture down for us. Tell us what it means. Hell, we can read for ourselves. We want an understanding. What did Solomon say in Proverbs 4:7? Wisdom is the principal thing, but with all you're getting, get what? Get an understanding. So, Mr. Teacher, Miss Teacher, break it down for us. Come on, teach. Come on, inform us, educate us. We're here. We're listening. We're ready. Come on. But see, just like that clock you hear ticking, that's all they got. It's noise. Tick, 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 tick. We're in a situation in a time right now, brothers and sisters, we should be coming together. Not still over there pointing fingers at the righteous among us, because we want to determine what good is and what good isn't. We want to determine what blessings are and what blessings are not, instead of letting the book be the judge. Yah's word be the judge. And we be the executioners of the word, the leadership, especially the elder class, who's right now sitting on their asses doing nothing, let me tell you, most of them. Pointing their finger at your elder. I'm sure they're pointing their finger at me because I'm saying something they don't like what I'm saying. So they'd rather I just go away. Be quiet. But you can bet your little stinky, dirty ass I ain't going nowhere unless y'all send me. And you better believe when he sends me away, you better start looking behind your shoulder, because I guarantee you something coming. Because unlike many of those who are on these platforms doing all the talking, I was actually called to do it. It's in my spiritual DNA to do it. And I actually love doing it. I hate the crap, the rebellion that comes along with it. The hard-headedness, the stiff-neck, the sorcery, the witchcraft, the rebellion. I hate all of that comes with it. I hate the attacks that come along with it. But I love doing it. Because it's my calling to do it. And yeah, I will break it down and I will teach it. I won't just read some off a piece of paper and say, now you get it, everybody curse. Yeah, I get it. I'm being, we're being led like sheep to the slaughter. Oh no, isn't the sheep led to the slaughter talking about Jesus? Whew, goodness. But, again, simple love, simplicity. The scorner loves to talk shit about other people, never look at themselves. And a fool hate knowledge. But here it is, Jacob saying, no, if you do these things, we're going to be blessed forever. This is what Abraham's blessing was about. To Abraham, all the earth will be blessed. And everybody walking around here talking about, you see, that means everybody can be saved. That's a damn lie. seeing that we will be a blessing wherever we are to whomever is there, especially when we in rebellion, because they're going to be able to exploit us, just like they did to Haiti, to our Benjamin brothers in Haiti. They're being exploited, taking advantage of them because they stood up for themselves. So they hate them for that. And so they ostracized that nation. 200 plus years now going. That's why it's the poorest nation in the hemisphere. It has nothing to do with witchcraft and sorcery and voodoo. If that's the case, then why is America striving? Because it's full of witchcraft religions. Warlocks, witches. Hell, they celebrate Halloween in a month or so. You're going to see nothing but a bunch of demon worship going all over this place. And you got the audacity to say the Haitians are a bunch of idol worship and devils and voodoo demon worship, when your ass got all that stuff all around your house, and Walmart's got whole area set up. Lowe's, Home Depot got whole area set up in their business for you, Jasher. And you got the audacity to say that they're being cursed because they're practicing that, when you over here buying that stuff up, you're the one that's cursed. At least they have a sense of independence. But on the other hand, you don't know who you are. You still think you're an African American. Many of you still think you're Christians. Most of you still think Jesus died for your sins. Now, if that's not sorcery and wizardry and witchcraft, nothing is. Voodoo and Christianity is the same thing. If you really want to say, what does black Christianity look like? Can you say the word voodoo? Christianity is the white version of it. Voodoo is the black version of it. The melanated version of it. But it's all sorcery and it's all witchcraft. It's all idolatry. And all who practice it will burn in hell because of it. So keep on doing what you're doing. But again, like that clock is ticking, time is running out. And sooner, y'all's about to give a real shout. A shout to say the moon will go down in noon and the fire will drop down on the sky. Darkness will be over the earth again because that EMP is going out. And then all of you self-righteous, all you big, bad, and bold, you and her, him and you, all of you, what you gonna do then? I know, let's just pray. No, you're gonna be prayed upon. The only praying you're gonna get is your predator praying on you. That's the only answer you're gonna get for your prayers. Oh, you're blaspheming. You're a damn lie. You know many of our people, well, when they were putting them on them damn stakes or about to hang them for the crime they did not commit, were praying to the Savior, you know? Huh? And again, I'm going to tell you right now, fair warning. If you don't want to see what happens to you when you turn to the heathen gods, including your Jesus, and you pray to your Jesus, if you don't want to see what can happen to you when these heathens go in their rage and they're about to rage, R-A-G-E, then you might want to look away. Now, if you choose to look, then that was your decision, so don't be getting mad and doing whatever you normally do when you get angry, shutting everybody down. This book is full of pictures like this. And if you look right in the center of this page here, right there with a man with the black suit on. See, everybody got on white, then the guy got the black suit on standing next to the tree. Look what's on the opposite side of that tree. Yeah, a naked Israelite on fire. And look how they're looking. Anybody over there look like they want to go home and leave? Because these are those people that you trust to believe are your friends. They will never turn on you. One more picture, so if you don't want to see, turn your head again. Fair warning. You got children in the room, tell them to close their eyes if they're looking at the video. All right, here it comes. It's going to be fast, but here it is. You see what that is? Huh? That's more than one. At least three right there in that picture, all hung together. And this book, without saying, is full of showing us what these heathens will do when they become enraged. They have a history of turning on their neighbors. And they taught us to do it too. But I put it there as a reminder to you. Love them all you want. Keep on loving them. You're going to find out the hard way. Yah ain't with you when you turn on Yah. We were told that we were supposed to protect our brethren. I'm back to Jasher. We were told that as a nation, we were to stay together. And that if we stayed together, we would experience Yah's blessings. But again, as I stated a moment ago, brothers and sisters, wicked Israelites among us have come and planted the seed of hatred within us and told us, no, you just cursed. Be happy you got a job, just over broke. At least you can pay your bills. And what did Yah say? No, as long as you're rebelling against me, you're going to just waste those resources. You're going to go give them to Walmart so you can get a Halloween costume for your child. You're going to go give it to Walmart so that, you can have a Christmas present. One of the richest families from America, the Waltons, are going to get richer just because of you. Because you're so miserable, you got to go to the heathens to find a way to make yourself happy. Damn. Talking about a low state of self-worth. But he told Judah, verse 8, and Jacob said to Judah, I know, my son, that you are a mighty man for your brethren. I want you to reign over them. And your sons shall reign over their sons forever. So when did forever stop being forever? Exactly when we were told to stop hating Benjamin. To stop watching and fighting and looking out for Benjamin. Or for that matter, any of the tribes. Exactly when we were told, where does forever not mean forever? When does forever not mean forever when Yahuwah is saying it? I know your forevers is the first time you get pissed and you gone. I've had enough of them forevers. Y'all heard me talking about it. Brother DFG, y'all sent me to your channel and this is where you want me to stay and I'm going to stay till I die. Nothing you can do to change me. But you better not piss me off. Now forget your forever. Y'all forever is for real. Your forever is, it's conditional. So who gives a shit about man's forever? But when it comes down to Yah's forever, it means forever. You can play with it all you want. You can try to dismiss it all you want. You can try to make Yah man and think like you think all you want. You're going to find out the hard way. You mess with the wrong one. And many of you are going to find out when it's far too late. I'm not talking about you just because you're here. I'm talking about those of you who are here and you're not going to do a damn thing. You've heard message after message and you'd rather go run to these people going to tell you what you want to hear or you just do nothing. I'm just going to study by myself and don't want nobody tell me. Well, is y'all going to reveal what you're studying to you as you study by yourself? Or you just going to know a bunch of scripture? Help me understand what you're saying. Because there is a difference between the two. Go over to the book of Psalms chapter 83, brothers and sisters. As Yahuwah leads, I will follow. Hallelujah. Psalms chapter 83. Keep not silent, Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Hold not your peace. This kind of ties right back in Isaiah 58. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice. Hold not your peace. Be not still, O El. For lo, your enemies, those who hate Yahuwah. And some might say, well, I believe in Jesus. I believe in Yahushua, or Yahushua, or Yahweh, but I don't hate Yahuwah. What are you talking about, Brother DFG? Hold your hand right there. Let's go over to the Torah. The same Torah that Jacob just told his son. Don't forget about the Torah. Keep that Torah. Remember what Yah said. You'll be blessed forever. Look out for your brethren forever. Don't forget about your brethren forever. Just because the heathens hate them don't mean you're supposed to hate them. Book of Exodus. Matter of fact, you hate them, you hate Yah. Tell you that right now. So you can join on the Haitian hate bandwagon all you want. But see, when that grid goes and that darkness comes, then your black ass gonna look just like a Haitian. But the lights on, oh, by the way, we all the same people. We look alike. You haven't noticed? So busy looking at them in pride and arrogance, you haven't realized, wait a minute, that could be he looks like my little brother. She looks like my oldest sister. Because they are your family. A family hated and despised by all the West because they stood up for themselves. And the same West that hates them, we'll get there. Give me a moment. But we want to talk about who hates Yahuwah. Okay. The book of Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah, which brought you out of the land of your captivity, out of your bondage. In other words, you want to be free? Yah say, I can make you free. Oh, you that have, but you shall have no other Elohim before me. None. No son before him. When they tell you got to go to the son to get to the father, that means you putting the son before the father. I'm talking about the son, like S-O-N. Before the father. That makes you rebellious. So you don't put no Elohim in. It's a little e. So don't pretend like you don't know what that means. That means there is no Savior. There is no Redeemer. And the minute you start to say that someone is your Messiah, Savior, Redeemer, you just violated the Torah. You just violated Yahweh's word. Now you're just like Saul. You are in idolatry. You are witchcraft. And you are in much iniquity. And those who practice those abominations will be destroyed. Oh, let me not get ahead of myself. You shall not make unto you, any graven images, any likeness of anything. That means I don't care what it is, a cross, a star, a statue, it doesn't matter. He said you don't make no images of anything that represents a deity. Something to be prayed to, worshipped, or reflected on. That has spiritual associations attached to it for you. So this is the difference between saying the word and understanding what it is you're reading. But let's go on a little bit further. You should not make to you any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down yourself to them. That means praying to it. But all these days of atonement, all of them praying to Jesus, or Yahweh Shai, or Yahushua, whatever name they have for him, all the same. But that's what they're doing. He's the Passover. He's the this. He's the that. We curse, but he's the blessing. He died for our sin, but you still sinning. He's our Savior. But nobody can see salvation anywhere where you walk or live. Shit, people look at your life and say, God damn, you must be stuck in some kind of damn, abyss. Damn thing changed in your situation in 10, 15, 20 years. What the hell's going on? But there you are. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we had the victory. In the name, come on, old ass woman. In the name of Jesus, look out, old ass man. In the name of Jesus, Satan will have to flee. Satan ain't going nowhere because you damn Satan, you're singing along with Satan, your pastor say, how can we stand before his grave? Jesus, precious Jesus, we have the victory. Now read my crutches, honey. Verse 5. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah Elakahaka, I am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity upon the fathers, upon the children, unto the third, fourth generation of them that hate me. So he's telling us not to do those things, because if you are doing those things, if you are possessing those things, you are praying to those things, then you hate Yahuwah. And if you don't understand what jealous means, simply meaning is I alone, no one else. And if someone else comes on the scene, I'm going to have an attitude about it. This is what he's saying. Are you listening? Oh, I know you're reading it, but are you listening? And it goes on, verse 6 says, and I will show mercy unto the thousand of them that love me and guard my commandments. So they want to take you over to Deuteronomy with the curses, but they don't want, and that's in the Torah, but they want to omit what's written right here in Exodus, saying that if I'll show mercy unto the thousand of them if they love me and guard my commandments. So what about that part? So you're going to tell us that we're going to embrace these curses, but you won't tell us if we keep the commandments, we're not cursed. Oh, I forgot. You were clever saying we can't do it. You're a liar. You won't do it. That's the problem. And because you don't understand what you read, you think that they gave you a man sacrifice, cannibalism, and telling you to drink his blood and eat his flesh when you're doing your communion ceremonies. And you want us to believe that's the substitute for something that each and every one of us could very easily do if we're taught properly. If we're taught properly, then we would know better than to believe such wickedness. Because he said we can't have another, then what is it if it's not another? I'm talking about your Yahweh Shai or your Yahushua or your Jesus or whatever name. How is another not another? But then again, he said you would be in confusion. It's exactly what David meant in Psalm 71. He said, I will trust in Yahuwah so that I be not confused. But because you're trusting in man and their religion, now you're confused because you think you got two or three in one. Goodness gracious. Hell, some of you think you him. I'm the one. Who? So y'all gonna take the weak and feeble among us, feeble-minded included, and that's who he gonna have to be our examples of his strength? You gotta be kidding me if you believe that. He gonna take the weak and the feeble among us, mentally too, and that's who he gonna put as a representative of the most powerful creator, the king of all kings. That is representative? Well, you got David over there saying, the strength of Yahuwah teaches my hands to war, my fingers to fight. You got Asa, or Hannah telling Asa, the spirit of Yahuwah goes throughout the whole earth, looking to show himself strong on behalf, the word strong, on his behalf, the word strong on his behalf of those who obey me or whose hearts are perfect to me. You got Jacob over there telling Judah, you have to reign over your brethren. You have to learn to be warriors and fighters. But somehow all this has been watered down to weak, feeble. And that's, you think that's representative of Yahuwah? Yahuwah blessings represents strength, not impotence, not emasculation, not tender, not delicateness, whether you be male or female. When Yahuwah is with a man or with a woman, they come across as strong, resilient. They stay the course. Don't give a shit what happened. They stay the course. They don't go home until the fighting is done. They understand that forever means forever. And they understand it's not conditional. And they are smart enough to know if their knowledge is to increase, and it should be increasing, that they've got to be amongst those who can help them grow. Because that's what Yah says so. I'll put judges over you, leaders over you. Some over 10, some over 50, some over 100. But you say nobody can be over you. Well, maybe you better go tell Moses and Yahuwah that. Well, you already told him that, right? That's why you sit here and you read this book like a bookworm. I can connect scripture. I can connect dots. The problem is, can those dots connect you to Yahuwah? Through your behavior, not because of what you said. And your behavior does matter. The heathens taught you, that you don't, he say that, how did they go with that? Not the faith without works is dead, even though there's something written over there. It's by grace you are saved, not of your works, lest any man should boast, or something like that. And many of the people were gullible, they bought up into that. Yeah. See, I ain't got to do nothing. Yeah. I ain't got to be myself. I ain't got no need nobody. But if the damn dentures fall out your goddamn mouth, I bet you're going to need a dentist. But you don't need nobody. You need to quit. The worst lies you could tell, or the worst is the lies you tell yourself. And Israel full of telling lies to itself, including that we're supposed to be ostracizing our brethren because the heathens say so. Like the heathen have our best interests in mind. There's not a damn heathen on this flat earth that has Israel's best interests in mind. God didn't put that in them. That's why he said they're supposed to be learning from us, not the other way around. But when you make the clown a king, don't be surprised if he turns the kingdom into a circus. And that's what you got going. Unsupervised chaos. Every man doing what he imagines in his own heart to do. That's not what the book of Judges said. I want to say that's 12 and 25. I'm going to go over there. I'm coming back to Psalms 83. Look at this, brothers and sisters. Oh my God, no, guess what damn what Judges is this. Hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah. Glory to God. I'm glad I looked. Judges chapter 21. And by the way, it happened to be talking about the Benjamites. After they went to war with Israel because of wickedness. But Yah forgave them, but somehow you can't. Wow. He brought us back together, but you won't let them come back to the flock, to the fold. But you claim to be just and righteous. But you hate your brother. Look at this. Judges 21, 25. In those days there was no king in Yashar, and every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Means chaos. Hard-headed, rebellious people. Just as we are right now. Nobody can tell you nothing. That's you he's talking about. Self-righteousness. Or better word, rebellion. You just call it something else. Independent. I don't need no man. I don't need no woman. Y'all got me. Not if you're doing whatever you want to do, he doesn't. Psalms 83. Keep not silent, O Elohim. Hold not your peace, and be not still. For lo, your enemies make a tumult, and they that hate you have become arrogant, boastful, proud, all over these platforms, all over these channels, all in their churches, all in their camp, all in the government. Proud, boastful. Those that hate you. Even inside of Yasharel. They're haters of Yasharel in Yasharel. And they're proud, boastful. They want to tell you, oh no, I might agree with you 20% or 80%, but that 20%, you could take that 20% and honey, brother, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, whatever somebody who give a shit about you call you, stuff it again. Clean up your rectum. It's all the way or it's nothing. He said, those that hate you now have become proud, boastful, arrogant. They have taken crafty counsel against your people. This is where we got to be careful, brothers and sisters. Talking about the righteous remnant, you. Crafty counsel mean like Satan. If you go to the book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 1, it will say Satan was the most subtle beast. And Satan is plural. But Satan was the most subtle beast that the Creator had ever made. And if you look at the word subtle, the way it's spelled, it means crafty, cunning. That's why you notice when these content creators are female, they always got this little mysterious, aura around them. Face all shiny and greasy. Rags on their head. Bugged out eye. That look. Always fiddling with something. Because they know their ass ain't supposed to be doing what they doing. But they doing it anyway. Same thing with the men. Reading with their head down. I like to say thinking with the head up, but they're not thinking at all. God's not revealing anything to them. They're just historians. Let me tell you about a story about a man named, we talked oh man. I was about to sing the whole Beverly Hillbilly song, but I'll leave that alone. There's an old story about a man named Jed. Lived out in the country, or lived out in the mountain, barely kept his family fed. Then one day, he was shooting at some food, and up from the ground came a bubbling crude. All that is, black gold, Texas tea. Ooh, hillbilly. Hillbilly. Heathens. Israelite heathens. Proud ones. Oh, I took these frontlets off. But he said those are the ones, the Jed Clampets, the Jethros, the Ellie Mays, doing all the talking now. And where's the rebellion in Israel? Know what the rebellion in Israel doing? Listening to them. Yeah, we cursed. You right. Brother, when you coming back again? Oh, brother. I'm so lonely. When I see your face, I cry. Just cut the shit, sister. You're wicked as shit, and you know your ass is wicked. Quit playing. You ain't fooling nobody but yourself. Like Bob Marley said, you can run all you want, but you can't run away from yourself. But Solomon said it better. The wicked run when nobody's chasing them. But the righteous, they don't run. This ain't righteous. You just think you are. Because you do whatever you imagine. You believe whatever you think is right. And the word don't back you up. And when you try to use the word back up, you get it all wrong. But when we open up a door and say, come in, we can teach you, we can help you. Y'all wants our knowledge to increase in these last days. Y'all wants our wisdom to increase in these last days. Here is a study. Here's the time. And we will be there, y'all willing. And then we're looking for you, and there is no you. You sound like the man. There's no house without a home. There's no me without you. God's not with you if you don't love your brethren and your sisters more than you love yourself. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against your people, and they have consulted against your hidden ones. Again, like they're doing with Benjamin right now, which they've been doing to us forever and a day. So I don't want to make Benjamin seem like the exception. Benjamin's just about to find out the American experience. As I said earlier in this message, Benjamin, they let y'all come across the border because there ain't nothing to be got. All the getting is gone. Oh, but what about the EBT cards, and what about the cats? Ain't enough cats to feed no damn body. If there were any cats to be eating it, when it's time to eat the cats, the heathen, them melanated, the non-melanated ones, they gonna eat them cats. Them pests they got, they gonna eat them pests. Trust me, you ain't gonna get your hands on them pests in a time of trouble. Trust me on that. Poor pests, I feel sorry for them. Not because of Israel, not because of us, because of who owns them. But he said they're taking crafty counsel against the people. Verse 4. And they said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Jasher be no more remembered. Now, I want you to think about this, brothers and sisters. We got Jacob over there warning us, or at least blessing us and telling us and warning us that if we keep warning us, as we keep the law, statute, commandment, and we look out for each other, we're going to be blessed. That's what he's saying over there. If we look out for each other, we're going to be blessed. We keep Yah's Torah, we're going to be blessed. Because looking out for each other is a part of Yah's Torah. Right? So we got him over there telling us that. And then we got over here being warned that, hey, all of your enemies, and the enemies, they're going to all come, take crafty counsel against not just Benjamin, but everyone else too. From Issachar to Zebulun to Naphtali, to Asher, all of us, Simeon, Judah. Reuben, Ephraim, and Manasseh, which is really Joseph. All of us. So they're taking crafty counsel against Yasharel, that they may be no more in remembrance. And they have come together, they have consulted together one with another in one confederation or one consent against Yasharel, and we're sitting over here acting like nothing's going on, nothing to see here. Why? Because the heathen said so? Because Kamala said so? Because Obama said so? Because Trump said so? So you're going to take their word over Yahuwah. Yahuwah said all the nations were confederate against all of Yasharel. And what was the purpose? What was the purpose? What are their intentions? Why did they all come together? Why are they taking counsel? Why are they turning and causing division among us? Why? Because they love us? Why? Because Black Lives Matters? Why? Because we need to have a rainbow coalition? Why? Because Yah don't see no colors? Then Yah will be blind, because he's the one who created the colors. So that's kind of a contradiction right there in itself. Why? Because there's no separation from a heathen than an Israelite? Although Yah said it was. Or heathens written all through this book. Strangers written all through this book. Israel written all through this book. So obviously Yah has a distinctive separation of identification. And he was real clear that Yasharel was my chosen, the Holy One. And he said, not only that, but there be crafty ones among us to tell us that we're not. That it doesn't matter. You're spiritual Jew. The Gentiles have to be saved by the Israelites who don't save their own goddamn self. But they don't need to save themselves because they got Jesus. God damn. Look, brothers and sisters, we got some difficult days ahead. You know, this book says that there's going to be a lot of weeping and crying and lamenting. Daughters of Zion being ravished. The men of Zion being extincted. The heathens enraged, looking for any reason to go on the warpath against us. And what are we doing? Instead of coming together, instead of turning back to Yahuwah, we're fanning the fire, doing just the opposite. Doing what you want to do. The book said because there were no judges in the land, people did whatever they wanted to do. That's why Yah put judges here, leaders, elders, watchmen, messengers, prophets, so that we could be strengthened. 12 is better than none. Especially when Yah's with them. So I'll end this Shabbat message with this. You've heard, hopefully you read along. Hopefully you have a better understanding that it's just not about knowing where the words are. It's not just about knowing where the chapters are. It's not just about knowing how to read, how to record. No, it is, do you understand that what you are reading? And if you do understand it, then is it being demonstrated where everybody can see in plain view? Otherwise, you put money in bags, putting money in bags with holes. And as Haggai 1 and 6 say, it's time for you to reconsider what you're doing before it's far too late. This channel, both of the channels are here to help. When it comes down to your soul salvation, I don't have a horse in that race. Because I can't die for your sins, and nor do no goddamn Jesus or any goddamn other heathen. You're going to die for your own sins. But Ezekiel says that clear. Sons don't die for the sins of the fathers, and the fathers don't die for the sins of the sons. It's a violation. That's why when Satan walked up to Abraham, he said, what are you doing talking about killing Isaac? Do you know the law say that your son don't die on behalf of the father? What are you talking about? Why are you doing this evil? And if y'all don't change, it's still evil thinking somebody died for your sins. You're dying for your own sins, sister. Or not, because you can do something about it. But it starts with a contrite heart, a humble spirit, and a willingness to submit yourself, to learn, to grow, so that your knowledge can increase and that you can make a difference for others. And the first assignment is love your neighbor as you love yourself. Well, your second assignment. The first assignment is love Yahuwah with all your heart, all your mind, and all your strength. But in loving Yahuwah, you love yourself because he loves you. You say, I am Yahuwah. I'm the Holy One. One more. Hallelujah. One more. Isaiah 43. Thumb this message up if you haven't already. Share it. I would appreciate it. Subscribe to the other channel if you haven't. It's going to help get the word out. This is in the shadow band. It's only going to go so far, and they're going to make sure it goes no farther. They don't want they're conspiring against us. I just read it to you, Psalms 83. They're Confederate. YouTube and all the rest of these social media channels, all of them are working to silence the truth. But they have no problem telling you about all kind of other debauchery and letting all kind of other exploitation go on their channels, on their platforms, through their mediums. But when it comes down to this truth, you violate it. No, they're effing violation. And y'all going to destroy every one of them heathens and anybody else who under their governorship. Look at Isaiah 43, verse 1. But now thus says Yahuwah that created you, O Jacob, and that formed you, O Jasher. Fear not, I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. Verse 3. I am Yahuwah, the Holy One of Jasher, your Savior. Jasher. Now if that's not good enough for you, then that's on you. You've been warned. Hallelujah. Well, that's pretty much all I have for you. So Yah, guess hopefully the next time, next Shabbat or next message. But I want to say again, my brothers and sisters, these Bible studies are here to help us. You follow me? We're not doing the Bible studies. There are several brothers and I. We've been doing this consistently now for 2 years, every Wednesday night. And anybody that's been on any of those studies, no, we do not exploit you. We're not trying to monetize you. We're not trying to guilt shame you into anything. We're teaching the truth. We even give you an email precepts of everything that we're studying. So when you're dealing with us, you're not putting money in bags with holes in it. You're planting seed that's going to bear forth fruit if you're consistent. Hallelujah. So it's Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you'll be there. I know y'all be watching if you are or not. But he watches everything, so that shouldn't be a surprise. Hallelujah. That being said, brothers and sisters, thank you for listening. Hope you share. Hope you thumb up the message. And understand, brothers and sisters, it only takes a second for the lights to go out, and then you're in darkness. And if you're not in the truth, it's going to be a lonely day. A long day. All right? Shalom, Yasharel. Elder DFG. Oh, and by the way, thank you guys who support the channel. You're much appreciated, and that's putting seed in good soil. Y'all will continue to bless you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.